If you're into forex trading or even just curious about Japan's economic future, understanding how the BOJ's decision impacts the market is absolutely essential. With the BOJ's next rate decision just around the corner, the stakes are high, higher than ever. In today's video, I'll be breaking down exactly what you need to know so that you'll be ready for this moment. The Bank of Japan's policies are a game changer when it comes to the yen. We'll look at how the BOJ's policies shape the yen, why the yen has been so weak recently, and how the BOJ has tried to intervene. And if you stick around till the end, I'll even share some exclusive trade ideas to help you capitalize on these moves just so that you don't miss out. And a quick reminder, if this video helps you out, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Not only does it support the channel, it also ensures that you never miss any critical updates like this one. Picture this. You're trading the Japanese yen, and you've seen the wild moves on the US yen pair over the last few weeks. But what's driving this volatility? Why does the yen suddenly spike in strength or drop like a stone? A lot of this comes down to the balance or imbalance between the US dollar strength and also the BOJ's monetary policies. To put this in perspective, let's rewind a little bit. Back in 2016, the BOJ introduced negative rates. This move sent the yen into a tailspin, creating massive volatility across all the yen pairs. Fast forward to today, we're looking at another huge potential shift in policy, with the BOJ deciding whether to raise rates again. But what does the Bank of Japan actually do? The BOJ is Japan's central bank, and its main job is to keep prices stable and the financial system running smoothly. To do that, they use tools like the interest rates, quantitative easing, QE, and even yield curve control, the YCC. Now, here's where it gets interesting. These tools don't just affect Japan, they ripple across the entire global economy. Why? Because Japan is a major player in the global markets, and the yen is one of the most traded currencies out there. Let's break it all down. The BOJ has kept interest rates near zero or even negative for decades to fight deflation. This makes borrowing cheaper, which boosts spending and investments. But there's a catch. Low rates also weakens the yen because investors pull their money out of Japan to chase higher returns elsewhere. Then there's the quantitative easing, QE. This is where the Bank of Japan buys government bonds to inject money into the economy. While this stimulates growth, it also increases the money supply, which dilutes the yen's value. The yield curve control, the YCC, is like QE but more precise. The BOJ targets specific interest rates on long-term bonds to keep borrowing costs low. But again, this often results in a weaker yen because it discourages foreign investments. Now, let's connect the dots. The yen has a long history of dramatic moves. Take 2012, for example. The yen weakened significantly as Japan pursued aggressive stimulus policies under Shinzo Abe's Abenomics. Or look at 2022, when the yen hit a 24-year low against the dollar. This wasn't random. This was a direct result of the BOJ keeping rates low while the US Federal Reserve hiked rates aggressively. And what happens when the yen weakens too much? Well, Japan's an import driven economy and it takes a hit. Higher costs for energy and raw materials squeeze both businesses and everyday people. That's when the BOJ sometimes steps in and intervenes in the currency. For instance, in September 2022, the BOJ conducted its first yen buying intervention in about 20 years. They sold off a foreign reserve to buy the yen, trying to stabilize the exchange rate. But did it work? No, not really. At least not in the long run. Global factors like soaring energy prices kept the yen under pressure. Now, here's why this matters today. On January 24th, in just 2 days' time, the BOJ is set to announce its next rate decision. And this could be a huge deal. Earlier in 2024, they ended negative rates, scaled back on QE, and hiked rates twice from minus 0.1% to 0.25%. Now, the market is bracing for another hike to 0.5%. If the BOJ raises rates, the yen could strengthen significantly. Higher rates make Japan more attractive to foreign investors, increasing demand for the yen. So, what does this mean for traders like you? Expect volatility. Yen pairs like the US yen could see breakouts, and this is your chance to capitalize on these moves. So, if the BOJ does hike rates, there are a few things to look out for. Keeping it simple, one of the things that you want to make sure happens is that price actually stays below this 157 level and possibly even below that 50% Fibonacci retracement level at 156.80. So first thing, price needs to stay below this yellow box. Then the next thing is that we're looking for price to head down towards this 155 support level. It's currently at 156.40. For it to get down to 155, that's going to be 140 pips to the downside. So great profit potential to the downside on the US yen if the BOJ does hike rates as expected, and if they're even more hawkish and talk about further rate hikes or plans for further rate hikes, we could even see a more bullish move on the yen, with the US yen breaking below 155 and heading down towards the support level or the next support level at 153.30, which works out as the previous swing level from below, and it's the Fibonacci extension level as well. So big moves ahead potentially for the US yen to the downside towards yen strength. Now, if you like more trade setups across the different yen pairs, I'll be going through them in detail in the next video, which you'll find somewhere on the screen here. And do join me live as we trade the release of the news event. And you can find the link for that live stream in the description or in part of the screen here as well. The BOJ's policies are key to understanding the yen's behavior, and by extension, the forex market. Whether you're a pro or just starting out, staying informed is your edge. Thanks for watching, and as always, the knowledge is power in the forex world. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.